Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Swija and I am super glad to see you on my channel. If you're new here, I make DIY videos for home decor, and if you love making them just like I do, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment on the video, and without wasting a minute, let's get started. So I started by separating a glass from my frame, and there were some impurities on the glass, so I had to clean it. Then I had this burlap roll which we usually use for Christmas decor or something like that, but I got it from dollar store, so I just grabbed it. I just wanted to go for a bigger piece, but I couldn't find it, so I just grabbed a roll. And just because it wasn't covering my entire glass, I had to cut a few times in a length so that it can cover my glass. And while I was cutting it, I had to separate it. I had to clean a little bit more than needed, so that when I cut the edges, I still have a room to cut it off. Then I cut the edges on both the sides and match the pattern to stick it on the glass, so it can look whole one piece. It wasn't looking like that, but yeah, I gave my best to make it look like one whole burlap cloth. I just had to make sure that it is well sticked from each and every edges of the glass. So when I had to cut, or when I have to cut and when I have to move the glass, it doesn't look like that it's moving or something like that, right? Then I had this beautiful line art from Monster Leaf and beautiful white color craft wire which can go well with the burlap and like kind of huge kind of material. And then I started to shaping out that wire in a Monster Leaf shape. It was a little bit time consuming task, and of course you have to be very careful when you're giving it a shape, because you are not going to know when you put this on a burlap, so you have to be a little careful for that when you give a shape. It was and then once I gave the shape, I started to stick that on a burlap cloth. As I said, it was really hard to maintain a shape, so I drew a Monster Leaf in the back with a little bit of sketching with the sketch pen or whatever you have with a pencil or something, whatever you're comfortable with. I started to I had that shape in the background, and I started to shape that wire just like the way it was in the background, so it was much easier for me. And I stick that with the hot glue. I stick that with the super glue actually. And once I had that all sticked, I put the frame back just like the way it was before, and I added some additional wire as well, just to give a little bit more shape and a little bit organic look. And here we are done with the first project. And for the second project, I had this big vase, which also I got from dollar store, which was pretty big vase. It's probably the biggest that I could ever get from a dollar store. And yes, I had this dowels, like a round dowels, which is pretty thick. And I think that those are the ones that you can usually get in the bigger size. This was the biggest one I could find, and which I thought it was okay to go with my vase. Then I started by putting this frog tape in the end, so that I can have the exact measurements of the width that I'm gonna take on the vase. It was very important step to do. And then I had this like extra what kind of paper which can cover my vase, so I started by putting the masking tape on the edge of that, so that I can put the half of the masking tape on my vase and cover the whole vase when I'm gonna paint it with the spray paint. Right now I put that paper very carefully without leaving a space, and I had to make sure that it goes evenly on all the edges. It goes evenly in the circular motion. And then I covered my whole vase, and I removed the frog tape. And once I remove the frog tape, now I had the exact width in which I'm gonna spray paint the spray paint the vase with the black color. And once I spray painted it, I removed that paper and started to put those dowels on the vase. Now I started putting the dowel on the vase just where my black color was ending. I had to be very precise when I was putting my dowels. So it was time consuming step as well, but it was once, because I had the reference line of the black color, it was very easy for me to work around it. Yes, there were multiple times there where my vase was flipping out on me once the dowel was on one side. So you actually have to be very careful, and I was using glue gun, but you can definitely go ahead with whatever the glue that you have. I would suggest E6000 would be the best, but I usually prefer my glue gun with the Gorilla Glue sticks, and of course I think that works best for me, but sometimes it does not. So E6000 works almost every time, so you can definitely go ahead with that. And then I sticked all of my dowels just like that, and fortunately I got in a correct amount, so I ended up having nothing in the end. So it was pretty good. Once it was done, I had to check that I have put it evenly or not. And yes, of course, that makes my project, and this is how I made it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you've enjoyed the video, please don't forget to engage with my channel by liking, sharing, subscribing and commenting on my video. That helps me to create my YouTube community. And once again, thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video.